So this is Remix Meetup. If you're unfamiliar with what Remix is, it is a web framework. It's not about, remixing music. Sorry, we co-opted that word. But yeah, this is the Remix Meetup, the May edition. And today we've got Jake going to be talking about dynamic Tailwind themes with Remix, which is super exciting. Going to be really fun. So thanks everyone who's come out tonight. A little bit smaller tonight, but that is no problem because it's small but mighty. So yeah, like I said, Jake's going to be sharing a little bit about Tailwind theming today, and yeah, how he's accomplished that at his company. And so yeah, let's just give it up for Jake.
So I'm going to show off kind of what I've built first, and then we'll do a code walkthrough. I have 0 slides, so much presentation for y'all here. And we'll just kind of walk through how I built it. If anyone has questions, feel free to interrupt and we can kind of go from there. And then if we have time, I might have open it up to how would we solve this issue I'm running into with the delete function. I'll talk about that too. So I've built out a way to add themes. And so I picked just kind of from the Tailwind colors here. So let's do a Derek's red and a Jared's purple. Pretty good. Kind of see, and so you can see as I'm adding these themes, they're auto populating into my input here, which is pretty cool. Remix kind of handles all that out of the box. And then I haven't saved the theme yet. And so as I save my theme to my quote unquote site settings, it's going to load from my site settings and set that theme onto my site. So you can imagine having a pretty robust, and I'll show how we use it with our e-commerce platform too. But you could have any sort of options that you wanted on your site settings and just save them and then load them dynamically onto your site. So as a place to start, we are using Tailwind. So I'll show you how that's configured here. So what we've done is kind of copied Tailwind's color scheming. And they use an RGB kind of platform, this alpha value. And they do that because they want to kind of preserve the way to add opacity to things. And so we've copied that pattern here. But the biggest thing and point to notice is that we're using CSS variables instead of actual values here. Any questions on that? So it's pretty standard, kind of extending the colors. So we still have access to all of the other colors, but I'm setting this primary color here for Tailwind themes. Now let's look at how we use them. So
why do we need to do it like that?
As opposed to what?
I don't know. I mean, I guess for people who are unfamiliar with Tailwind,
So
why do we need to construct these colors like this with the alpha value and the RGB? What is that giving us?
your own question. Have you built that?
No, I mean, I was just saying building it this way allows us to use all the Tailwind CSS out of the box, right? The Tailwind classes
Yeah.
and the opacity classes and all of that. So that way.
So I'll show, we have a button that we've built out with these kind of class names. And you can see here we have BG primary. So what Tailwind does, it takes those colors and it adds class names for background, text color, anything that would use color. And so we've set these primary colors to our button props. Probably an easier way to is this title. So let me go to this page here. So I've set on this page a title with a text primary, so you can see the color here gets added. So Tailwind sets up all of the class names for us, which is why you would want to, which is the advantage of using Tailwind and their theming platforms. It's like out of the box, you get all these utility classes. And their kind of schema of colors helps too. So if I wanted to make this darker, I could make it really dark there. So it's just a really dark green. Okay, so that's kind of how we take those class names and use them. But how do we build out these kind of I can show you in the root here. So this is the values that are getting added to the document. And it's using CSS variables, so out of the hood. And so we can actually, anytime you want, you can go in and kind of manipulate that on a more granular level, which is a really nice feature of CSS variables. So what we can do is, I don't know what to show first. Let me show the Prisma schema. And this will kind of show you kind of the model that I've set up. So here we just have our theme with a name, an ID, and then the colors 50 through 900. And so in the database, as I'm adding a new theme, this is what it looks like here. And then in the site settings, I just give it a theme ID. And that's just a number. So it's just 1, 2, or 3. So I guess, oh gosh. Derek's rather be like theme 1. And when I save that here in my site settings, it's just saying, I want to use theme 1. It's pretty as simple as that. And then, oops. The way that I use that here in my loader is I find my site settings first. And then I find the selected theme where so I have all the 3 themes in the database. And then I get the theme based off of the ID that's in my site settings. So I'm just passing like 1 here, and it's finding the correct theme that's attached to the ID of 1. And so that gets me my theme, which has all of my numbers to it. So what's cool about this actually is these are actually hex values as a string. And if you noticed earlier, RGB is just 3 numbers that we're attaching. So what I need to do is we have this cool kind of black box function where we convert the hex to RGB. And that enables us to do kind of that transparency stuff like we talked about, and then also match the pattern to Tailwind. And then what we do is we generate just literally a string. So I know this code's kind of terse, but all we're doing here is we're saying we want to create a theme, a CSS string of text. And we're looping through the values, which is just 50, 100 to 900. And we're creating these CSS variables out of it. So it looks it's just a string that we're creating with these values and the numbers. And then we're applying it to the root. So this string literally just looks like this here. You can probably see it here. So this is the string that's getting generated here. And then the way that we apply it is we pass it to the front end or the client. And I guess this works well because this also is like server rendered and there's no flash or anything on load that you can see. So we literally just dangerously interset a style tag with that root variables. And it's about as simple as that gets. Just create a string and set it to the styles with all our variables from the database. And that's pretty much kind of the extent of how we work with the dynamic CSS variables. I can go into the forms and show you kind of how I set those up too. So let's go to forms, the theme form. So here I have an input and a select, and this is just remix forms at this point. So I have a use fetcher to create my form. And then I submit it to my resource themes. So I'll show that in a second. So this is my action. And I created a resource route for that. And then I reset the form when it's done. Okay, so let's look at the resource route. So the form data gets passed to this action here. And then with Prisma, it's really helpful because they auto-generate a client for you. So all I really had to do with Prisma is like type out this schema file, or have Copilot type out the schema file for me. And then inside my resource route, I generate the Prisma client, and then I can use it here to like just .create on whatever like database schema that I'm wanting to create on. And so here we have our name of the theme and then whatever color we want to do. And we just take that. Again, I just stole all those theme colors. We can look at that. I stole all those theme colors from Tailwind and just like literally copied them here. So these are all my themes that I printed out. And you can see again, here's the hex values that get then converted to RGB. And so whatever one is selected, I just put that into my data when I'm getting created. Okay, I'm gonna pause there. Are there any kind of questions that you have?
I'm not super knowledgeable about CSS variables. How those are become part of like a global style sheet and are then read by Tailwind? Is that how it works when it's dangerously set there?
Almost, yeah. So I'll dive into that. That's a great question. So CSS variables can be set anywhere on the hierarchy. So we set them on the root as like a global scale. You can set them on any element, and that would be only scoped to that element. You can set them globally and then override them. So I don't know my RGB very well, but if I wanted to like overwrite this, you can see I have color primary here, set to 500. Copy. So on the style, if I wanted to overwrite the CSS variable, I could just like make it black, I guess.
I think you need.
Well,
I think you need spaces
okay.
because it's using RGB, not RGBA. So instead of commas.
Just spaces.
Right.
There you go. Thanks. So that shows kind of like how you can scope CSS variables. Obviously this one's like named primary 500, so you probably wouldn't usually do that, but that's the way that scoping can override different CSS variables, and that can kind of get pretty powerful if you're like composing a bunch of things together.
For example, what Tailwind's doing right there with the text opacity.
Yeah, so
They use like a really, it's pretty advanced what they do is.
like I can
CSS
make my
variables.
text opaque just on everything that's text white there. Let's see. How are these being used, I guess? So if I go and look at my background, VG primary 500 as the utility class, it's the CSS variable is just whatever value you want to pass into that property. And so that just gets copied in from whatever scoped value that is. And you can pass in like backups and fallback values too. Did that kind of answer? If you have any other follow-up questions to that?
Thank you.
Yeah. So, has anyone like used Prisma before? Something similar?
I mean, I used Prisma 1. What they did version 2.
I don't know any of the difference.
Well, you're enjoying a lot of benefits that I didn't have,
Yeah.
from what it sounds like.
It was, so I'm a front-end developer, and I normally let my Derek do much of the back-end work. But I was trying on this thing, I was like, look, Jake, you're a back-end developer, and it's really powerful. Being able to just set up your schema. They also have a tool. See if I can Google this real quick. Studio.
Where are those values actually being stored?
Yeah, I'm going to show that with this. So,
Okay.
so Prisma has this studio feature, which is really cool. So you can actually see. And what's fun about this is Code Spaces did all of the work for me to open up that port, and it like literally spat me out this new URL to like get to my studio, which is like really cool and mind-blowing. But so this shows you all of the models you have set up. So I have this random test one that I don't use. I have the themes and the site settings. So here you can see the themes that I've created and all the color values here. You can add records in here too. And then you can see the site settings, and you can see which like your theme ID. So if I wanted to like change the theme ID here for what's active, go do that. And if I saved it and then went back to here, it's like updating the database in real time. So yeah, Prisma was fun to work with in this. We are using TypeORM, unfortunately, but I've never used Prisma, and it was like a really good way to start working here and kind of set this up. Are there any other questions about kind of Remix and how I worked within these forms? Or we can kind of dive into the problem I'm having, if y'all are interested in that.
You had one comment.
Oh,
No,
I'm not monitoring the chat, sorry.
I
think I did. Okay, let me show that off because,
What's the chat?
okay, sorry. It says, I think I understand that your UI is using a preset color palette, but it sounds like the form could show us separate text boxes to type in the variants of colors, 50, 100, etc. Yes, and for this demo, I was too lazy to build that out, but I do have something I can show off that uses this kind of more in depth.
I think one indication to know that it's something that there's already a preset palette is in your tailwind.config. The JSON field is actually called extend.
Yeah.
And so anything within that extend overwrites the Tailwind custom palette or default palette. And then there's also, if you put it outside of extend, it changes some defaults and there be dragons, but that extend keyword probably is where the key is.
These are all the colors coming from Tailwind. So I did use, yeah, Tailwind's preset colors, but let's check out this real world example of how we're doing this. So this is our like dev site for this e-commerce platform that we're working on top of Medusa.js, which is like an open source Shopify competitor of sorts. That's, I guess, mostly catered to developers. And so what we've done is we built a storefront for that. And you can see we have these kind of purple theme here for our storefront. And in our site settings, we have primary color, accent color, highlight color, and the indigo is the color that we have here. And to, was it Brandon that commented? Here is an example of how you could change each color individually and set those values into the database, which is, we are still using kind of Tailwind's themes, but we could pick any kind of theme colors here, just to show this work.
Yeah, there's a custom option as well, right? So you can just enter your own.
Yeah. You can do custom, or you can override certain values. Like, what is this button using? So let's change the text primary 600. So if we wanted to do black, I guess. So that's how you can kind of override individual colors or tweak things as you want. We also do it with fonts, and yeah, just fonts. So you can change fonts on the in a very similar fashion, but it's a little more complicated because we have to dynamically go and get those fonts from like Google Fonts and things. But yeah, setting up those CSS variables is pretty powerful. And again, you can see that here in our, well, you can see all of Tailwind's CSS variables. They have a lot out of the box. And then you can see ours that we're using here, and then the font display and font body ones that we use throughout the site also. So that's kind of how we use it in our real world application to let people dynamically choose what colors they want things on their store to be. And then, yeah, you're welcome, Raymond. The challenge I was running into, and maybe y'all can help, was that when I wanted to delete a theme, I was coming in here and everything else has been like loading super perfectly and in real time. So if I save it, it loads and instantly. I don't have to do anything. Remix was great. But if I wanted to delete something, well, that one didn't even exist for some reason, but it did delete it. Yeah, I'm just getting an error. So I was wondering has anybody kind of come across the pattern of using a sub action when working with remix forms? So an example of that. So if we look at our delete or our update action here, this only has one action, right? It's like to create the theme. And let's do the updated one. And this action is to update the theme. So in theory, instead of having my resource route to delete the theme, I could set up a in my form a sub action, and then on delete, I could do. And then I could check like if sub action. Delete. And I could do.
You know, we're gonna use a different like HTTP method for that. Like a delete versus compose.
So that's a good question.
Using GraphQL though, you might be okay, because GraphQL always uses posts. Like,
Well, this is not
well, I know
GraphQL.
that, yeah, but like, it might be like, we let this one slide, sort of, yeah.
Remix.
So anything
Yeah.
anything that's not a get, it automatically goes to the action though, right? So
Yeah,
you're saying you
so-
could check the type.
You check the request stop method.
Yeah.
You
You
could put
check the method.
You could put a name on the button, but Remix utils, Remix dash utils has a concept of named actions. Should probably just use named actions.
So on the button here,
Yeah, I think it's name.
or would I make another fetcher? Is that what you're saying? Make another
There's a
fetcher.
couple ways you can do it, yeah. You could split them as two different
So I
forms.
have a fetcher here. So but then I could add. You know, if I
If
do
you do two forms, then you have to do two actions, like on a different page.
You could. yeah,
If you want
could
to use the same action on the same page, you need one form, and then you either need to differentiate between clicking the two buttons, which is the easiest way.
What, wasn't it, you set the name to sub action and the value of it to delete or something?
And then I need to pass in my data.
So then you can just use the main for the original fetcher.
Factor too much, but this would be action here. Dynamic themes. So this should go to my same action here. And instead of checking sub action, you're saying I could check the request type. That's right.
Let's stop messing. Draw caps, not yet.
What I don't know. This wants.
Well, it shouldn't be side settings, right? It should be the theme. That should be, isn't it where ID equals ID? Where ID equals theme ID?
Like ID. So. That was one complaint that somebody had. And you can't have extensions. I don't know why they get reset. I used to have Prettier installed. So somebody was complaining that using form data and all these actions, like when you're working with numbers to strings, you have to do that parsing. So I guess that's something that just Remix is saying that they don't mind that problem. That work?
Have a fallback theme? Or does it have, it has a default, right?
Yeah, this
Okay.
gray is kind of like my default. Oh, I think they're all deleted, so let's try adding one.
Nope.
It didn't add it now. Oh, well.
Oh, are you? Is it the sub action that you added? It's trying, right?
This is not site settings. This would be things.
Oh, that's hard coded though, where ID equals 1. Oh. Sorry.
Oh, well. But that was a good thought, so I can fix that later. But,
I do.
yep. Are there any other questions? Let's see, chat. Yeah, so we have this pattern where we have a hidden input with sub action. And we're actually using a library that I'm not like the biggest fan of, but I'll still show it off, I guess. So this has this sub actions kind of as like a built-in property. So when you use that, it'll actually include this kind of hidden input for you. So you can kind of pass in different types of actions you want to take to your action. If you're having a complicated form, I guess, with lots of different things or page that you want to do lots of different actions on. And then Jared's like abstracted all that logic into helper functions. Like that too.
Do y'all have any other form libraries that y'all use? For
Remix.
No, I use that just to parse the whole data itself.
use what?
Zot.
Zod, okay.
Yeah. This one like is almost there. Things that are frustrating is like when we started using Yup, and I don't know if we used Zod, it would fix it, but we can't have cross input validation with Yup in this library. So it doesn't read, I don't know how or why, I have to dive much more deeply into that, but it doesn't read across it. If you want to say like this input, when in this input equals something, this input should have a different validation. So I came across that recently, which was frustrating.
Yeah, what was nice about it though, was that it allows you to do like both server side and client side validation using the same library. So I mean, it's the errors that you pass from your actions will apply automatically to the form. So it's like, or to the inputs.
And some of that might go away if we did switch over to Zod. So
Yeah.
I haven't dove into that yet. Cool. That's all I got. Closing notes. I'll share this repo with Brooks, and it's set up on a code space. If you've never used a code space, I'd like recommend just trying it out. You can fork the repo and then I think set it up as your own code space and your own GitHub account, and unload everything runs. So it's pretty fun. It sets up Postgres for you and has your whole Remix app running right off the bat. So, yeah.
So obligatory ask for speakers. We're always looking for speakers. I had like a nice runway where I had like 3 months set up, but now at the end of that, So if you're looking to talk, or if you have an idea, always looking for speakers. The only ask is that it's just in some way related to Remix, but here's just a list of ideas of things to talk about. But yeah, if you built something in Remix, or you're inspired to build something, like Karen, I know you gave your talk, you were just like, I'm gonna do this thing, and then I'm gonna talk about it, which was awesome. So always looking for oh hey, Andrew cursed. There you go. Just for you, buddy. So yeah, anyway, just always looking for speakers. But yeah, it's super chill. It can be 5 minutes, it can be 20, 30 minutes. I'm gonna cut you off at 40. It's just too long to speak. Sorry, unless you're like, I don't know, the president or something. I don't think you get to talk that long. That's just my rules. So next meetup will be typically it'll be in a month. I'll try to post it soon. Usually I try to do the first Thursday of every month. Next month might be a little bit weird for personal reasons, but anyway, the personal reason is trying to go to a baseball game. So, and the other fun thing that we work on in this meetup is we're just working on a little fun community website. This is like us just hacking around. So we're gonna get this thing going. And the most recent fun thing that we've been working on, and by we I mean Matt, has been working on is a little bit of a blog. And so he wrote a little blog of how he built the blog, because of course, why would you build a blog if you're not going to talk about how you build a blog? That's the whole point of building a blog, everybody. So anyway, it's been super fun. Just working on that. And even now, like Matt and I literally were talking about how the meta tags aren't working right. So he's trying to figure it out. That's not it. Twitter has an out-of-date card validator online, but I checked the staging URL.
Yeah.
Came back to this.
We block robots on the staging in the yeah, so I can't find
Okay,
it.
awesome. No, that makes sense now that that's
Sorry,
good.
my fault.
No, it's
that's
fine.
We wanted
to do that.
Let's-
It should do that.
It's okay.
We may have to just like cross our fingers and merge.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. So y'all are gonna see some real time open source. And wait, man, we use GitLab at work, so I always forget how GitHub works in between.
Yeah, it's always
Oh,
confusing.
hold on.
It's not good.
No, because I did a thing to experiment whether it was HTTPS. It's not. So I need to revert that. I gotta take that away. And that's, yeah.
Anyway, so just saying, like, there's lots of fun stuff to work on. So if you're looking for a little side project or just want to help out, this is a really cool thing. So we got a couple little tickets here. 3 of them are assigned to grants. That's cool. But yeah, just little things. If you're just ever looking for stuff, there's all sorts of like build stuff, but there's also just like, hey, if you're really into design, like, Matt got this thing going, but if you're like, oh, I can make it look better, like,
Yes,
I don't think Matt's gonna be sad. Yeah. So if you got a design eye, like, feel free to come in. If you want to like have a new idea for something else you'd want to add. Anyway, it's just a fun little side project. We're working on it. We are trying to make it as complicated as possible because we're devs and we want to make things super complicated. So no, it's a lot of fun. Other things I'm just gonna announce just in the remix world is, if you don't know already, Remix Conf is next week. I think there are probably still tickets. So if you're like, just like, oh, my company just has, a lot of money and they want to spend it all on me, here's an idea. But if that's not you, there probably should be a live stream next week if you're interested in watching the conference. Our very own Paul is going to be speaking on Thursday, which is super exciting. It's kind of a sweet spot. And then I actually get to talk about this conference or this meetup at the conference on Thursday. So I'm super excited to do that. And yeah, really excited just to say what this meetup has been to me and I think to this community and whatnot. So anyway, I'm excited about that. And I think that's all the announcements I have. So I think we'll end a little bit early, but this goes till 8. So feel free to hang out. Come talk to me if you have ideas for talks or if you have ideas for the website or whatever. But other than that, we will go ahead and officially sign off. So thanks for coming.